Welcome back, everybody, to a very interesting video. Well, I guess not that interesting. This is just ideas that never really made it into an official video, so I guess I'm gonna combine them together. This is the ldoe speedrun and some multiplayer news. Well, I guess interpretive news if you want to put it like that. As always, if you haven't already, consider subscribing, join my Discord, follow my Twitter, you know the drill, let's get into it. So, I'm gonna show you some screenshots of messages. Please note that this is all done publicly. All of this stuff was shared openly in creator chat on the official ldoe server. So everything I'm about to share with you is public knowledge. You can go find it if you want to. It's on the ldoe server. Right here we have a sort of almost like a confrontation because one of the developers finally went into the creator chat and was confronted with the lack of creator updates. As you know, the last creator update was, 10 months ago? Or early this year, and now it's the end of the year. So right here, he says, he means to say, if Discord is created as a community, why are we ignored? AKA the creator community. There has been no content for the creator for over months, even though players have reported it repeatedly every time to Discord staff and ldoe suggestions as well many times. The dev replies, who said ignored? Right there, imagine 100 plus players asking about an update for over 7 months. 100 plus is an understatement. Almost every player in Creator Lounge has cried over no creator updates. Actually, every time season trailers are introduced, all we talk in this channel is about no creator updates. Well, you said no update soon. You guys didn't even show anything in progress for multiplayer like you always do for single player. And then the developer replies, over the years, the game has become much larger than before and we are working on different aspects of it. As soon as we plan an update for the creator, I will notify you right away. I don't understand what kind of ignore we're talking about here. I'm gonna jump down a little bit and we can see that quoted message. There is nothing about multiplayer from a long time. The reply, so there is no shareable news for now. It's pretty simple. And then I suppose that really relates into this last message. This one was pinned. When the development team is ready to share any news about the creator, you will see it immediately. I think this will be the universal answer to any multiplayer questions. And I think that this answer works. AKA, we are not getting a multiplayer update for the rest of the year. Because if there was news of a multiplayer update, it would be shared, right? I'm reading them literally at face value, and that would be my interpretation of it. If there was a multiplayer update, they would have announced it immediately. They would have tried to get these multiplayer people hyped up. They would have tried to end this confrontation immediately instead of just saying, when there's news, you will hear about it. They would have said, hey, there's multiplayer coming at the end of this year. You know, here's the heads up. Instead, they just say, look out for the news, and we have nothing. And also, as I've been speculating, ldoe end of the year updates really don't tie to multiplayer that well. I mean, I suppose it would be interesting to see a multiplayer creator season end of the year thing, but realistically, if you put the ldoe realism filter on it, how realistic is that do you expect to see? Over every single year at the end of the year, these updates have always been single player. That's not to say it's not impossible, but applying the past patterns, these updates have always been single player. So if I had to put my money down, again, the devs have not confirmed anything, but if I were to make bets, this next update, and throughout the rest of the year, there will not be a multiplayer update, or we would have heard some sort of news about it. And then I had a couple of requests to talk about the lab speedrun, and, well, I'm not coordinating this, so I guess it's completely fair if I do talk about it, give my complete unbiased opinion. Just so you know, I am not a coordinator in this event. I do not have a hand in reviewing any submissions. I don't even get to see the submissions, so that should be your heads up. This should be completely fair, unbiased to any way, shape, or form. So the lab speedrun. With the current additions to the lab, we feel it is time for a speedrun event to see who is the fastest at clearing the lab. So the goal is to clear A1, A2, B1, and B2 in normal mode. The conditions are to get to clear A1 through B2, you don't have to kill all the zombies or open all the rooms. You don't need to kill any of the bosses except for A1 and B2 because that's required. The boss is literally in the way of completing the sector, but like bosses from A1, the necrotic hybrid, or the icebreaker zombie, you can avoid those rooms. The rules. You can show your backpack and temporary buffs before entering A1. This is obviously to make sure, you know, people don't have extra buffs. You must show the temporary buffs page, as they say, to prevent stuff like the fish dishes, healer, VIP, or dogs from affecting stuff. You need to show that the bioreactor is clear from perks. This is just a fairness thingy. In all honesty, I disagree. I think that the perks you have should totally affect how things go, but to an extent, I do totally understand. I would have loved to put some blocker ones in there or something like that, but you can't. And it's a fairness thing. I get it at the end of the day, but I really wish it did have a part in it. Because in the next line, they say no use of lab perks and threats from the bioreactors are allowed during the run. Normal perks are allowed to be used except for the lab perk friend or foe. No use of hotkeys or macros if you're on an emulator. Only one piercing weapon is allowed to be used. Any Genesis guns can be used except for the resonator. Interesting. Why would you need a piercing gun? If we're avoiding the icebreaker boss, I don't know, maybe the zombies have armor or something like that? I don't know. But I feel like it wouldn't even be worth it. Melees are allowed. No extreme rare mods are allowed to be equipped and or used. Only common and rare are allowed. In theory, you could go with an AK and all rare mods. As they say in the next line, all guns are allowed to be used except for brutalizers, scars, milcors, mines, and grenades. No extreme rare mods. All armor is acceptable to be used except for Kevlar, CRBN, and ghillie. I don't know why you would be using a ghillie armor in the lab of all places, but apparently it's banned. Kevlar and CRBN, I can understand to an extent. Kevlar would be extremely protective, and CRBN affects that first A1 sector. I don't know why you would ever think of using ghillie, but I guess it's banned. No usage of character skins that cover up the appearance of armor that you're using, but you would need to open your inventory eventually, so you would get pegged that way, so I don't know. Unlimited use of heal items, armors, and guns. Backpack refills are permitted, but the time will be counted not taking items from your inbox. No deaths or usage of reanimators are allowed. That one I can understand. I feel like if you die, though, it's just considered a time save and you wouldn't even submit that run. No use of the force close method to avoid death or other purposes. Again, I think that if you use the force close method, that, you know, it would just kill your time and it's just not even worth it to use. But it's banned anyways, so. The speed run must be done with a single run submission. The left button needs to be auto. No restriction on what the right button can be used. So I would pick sprint. Roll takes too long, and you can only use it for a short amount of time. Again, your goal is speed. And then videos can't be edited. They need to contain the original music. This is obviously splicing and a couple of those issues. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty, but very obvious verification stuff just to make sure that these runs are legit. Any recordings made before the start of the event do not qualify. Failure to comply with the rules will be an automatic disqualification. And then here's the rewards if you want to read those. Actually, these rewards are pretty well worth it, if I must say so myself. The event ends like 10-ish days after this video going live, so feel free to submit whenever you feel within that time frame. I'm not going to do it because I'm not a big fan of restrictions on speedruns. I just think get it done, use whatever means necessary, but I'm not coordinating this. I didn't write these rules. These are the official rules on the thing. I'd recommend reading the channel for the official stuff, but this has been it from me, ZD. Let me know your opinions, by the way, down below. I'm still looking for diversity in this channel thing. So let me know all of that down below. Subscribe, ZD out.